Hello there and welcome. My name is Sunshine Amos, the CEO and Project Manager, Sunshine Resources. In this video, which is part of a video series, I'll be asking you a very important question. Like the first video in this video series, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions just to poke your mind and redirect it to something. I've dropped the link to the first video in the description box below this video. You may want to check it out. And I did ask in that video that why do people choose to work for other people all the days of their life? Okay? I know some people will be thinking in their mind now as they listen to me, Mr. Sunshine, I'm not working for people, I work for the federal government. I'm not working for anybody. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be deceived. A government is a group of people that came together and allow a constitution to bind them together. All employers of labor have a common behavior toward their employees, including the government of your nation. The government of this nation is not a good employer, whether you like it or not. This is why government workers are always in distress. If you earn your money through salary, you will forever be in distress. All economic forces will be against you. Your salary will never grow as much as your life troubles grow. Every generation is bedeviled with a problem. The problem of the last generation was slave trade. The problem of this generation is slavery of the mind, where people are programmed to become employees and made to earn salary. It is a deliberate attempt to keep everybody poor, believe it or not. If you believe it, that will mark the beginning of a generational wisdom, because you will definitely change your path by not conforming. But if you don't believe me, you will surely become a victim. You will work for somebody until retirement do you apart. Every worker's day, you will chant solidarity forever. This is the design of salary, and in spite this disgusting nature of salary, people have been hypnotized through education to always go with employment and salary. I pray that God will open your eyes to what I'm saying here. The consequence of salary is corruption. Corruption is an evil idea civilized people generate when they feel enslaved, battered and bitter by a system they cannot control. This is the origin of corruption in government. Corruption is deeply seated in government. This is what our parents witnessed. They all choose employment and they all work till retirement. This has kept majority of them poor. But the irony is that most of them are retired and bitter. But they are telling their own children to go through the same bitter pathway. Do you think you are a good mentor if you do that as a father? Now listen, with employment, we transfer poverty from one generation to the other. I have asked this question before. Who made such a disgusting choice for them, where majority of people in this generation choose to become employees all the days of their life? In today's video, we will attempt to provide answer to the question, how did our fathers become employees? Who made the choice for them? Here I'm talking about our fathers, not our forefathers. Our forefathers were not employees. They were entrepreneurs. They were farmers, fishermen, some were into lumbering, blacksmith, goldsmith, some were into dyeing of clothes, black soap making, palm wine tapping, making of palm oil, etc. They were literally converting our resources into useful product. They interacted with nature and understand the nature around Nigeria. That is why most of the food recipes we consume today was created by the illiterate generation. The garri, pounded yam, fufu, akara, moi moi, ogogoro, egusi, okra soup. All these food recipes that the educated generation is enjoying today was created by the illiterate generation. It was not Oyibo or white men or professors that created them. It was not food technologists or food nutritionists that invented them. They were all invented by the illiterate generation. The generation that we generally undermine and see them as rubbish. And even up till today, they are still producing our foods. A graduate of botany may be roaming around the street of Lagos, Abuja or Port Harcourt looking for white-collar jobs. He wouldn't know that bamboo tree is used for making toothpick because education has disconnected him from his resources. This is what we call new generation, the educated but frustrated generation. Having said this, I think I have redirected your mind to the generation that existed before the employment generation. The employment generation is the generation of educated people. Now in the 21st century, we have moved from employment to unemployment. It is important for you to know that the illiterate generation was a generation of creative and productive people. Great African authors like Wole Soyinka and Chinua Achebe got their content from the illiterate generation. This is the kind of African history you will not find in the academia. Instead, they will teach you a history of primitive Africans and how they have used education to civilize us. Now that they have civilized us, what are we doing with our civilization? With all our civilization and education, why is our economy in shambles? Why is African continent ever remaining developing? Can our kind of education develop Africa? Why is a new generation constantly developing the strong desire to leave the African continent? Education is a byproduct of colonization, westernization and socialization. Now listen, it was education who chose this employment for your fathers. Education was a form of technology, just like any other kind of technology. It came like a wildfire and disconnected us from our resources and promised us employment, which is more or less modern slavery. Today, it has left most of our youth unemployed and unproductive. As at last quarter of 2023, over 80 million Nigerians are unemployed. With education, we have been indoctrinated so much that even in the absence of employment, we wouldn't want to do anything apart from employment. Unemployment is 100% associated with education. It has destroyed the African entrepreneurial spirit in us and disconnected us from our grassroots occupation. I'm not fascinated by how eloquent or intelligent someone is after education, but how creative and innovative he is. With education and civilization, we see farming and all other African occupation as punishment. We have been disoriented and miseducated. We have lost the irony that the first industry that God gave to mankind was the soil. This is the basis of our predicament today. Education should be meant for development of resources, innovation and creativity, and not prepare a whole generation of people for employment. The question is that, who are the employers? Of course, you know what I mean. It's a new form of slavery. They are the employers. We are the employees. That's the ideology. And that's why the institutions that they've planted here are institutions that will prepare us to become good servants and slaves.